There's this fascinating thing about men. They walk through life wearing this confident armor at work, with friends, even at home sometimes. They project strength, they fix things, they solve problems, they make decisions like they know exactly what they're doing. But when it comes to intimacy, there's a whole hidden side to them that you may have never fully tapped into. And here's the secret: many men have fantasies, positions, experiences, moments they crave deeply but would never actually put into words. Not because they're ashamed of them, but because they fear how you might react. They don't want to risk judgment, awkwardness, or the possibility of killing the moment. So instead, they keep those thoughts locked away. And the funny part, those locked away thoughts are exactly the kind of moments that could completely transform your connection, your chemistry, and yes, your sex life. If you've ever looked at your relationship and thought we've lost a little of that spark, or we're doing the same routine over and over again, then I want you to listen closely, because that is exactly where passion goes to die. Passion doesn't fade because two people fall out of love. Passion fades because things become predictable. And in the world of attraction, predictability is the enemy. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, Matthew. Are we really about to talk about this? Yes, we are, because sex is not separate from your emotional connection. It's a part of it. The physical is deeply tied to the emotional, the mental, the psychological. And when you start to play in that space where fantasy and reality blend, you wake up parts of your relationship that have been asleep for years. So today, I want to give you something different. I want to share with you 5 positions men secretly beg for. Positions that are so impactful, they can change the way he sees you, thinks about you, and desires you. The funny thing, most women never try them, not because they can't, because they simply don't know the effect they have. Let's start with position Fae 1, which I like to call the Queen's Throne. This is where you straddle him while he's sitting upright, maybe in a chair, maybe at the edge of the bed, maybe even on the couch after a night out. This is not just being on top. This is a declaration. It's you saying, without words, I'm in control right now. I'm choosing you and I want you. Why does this drive men crazy? First, it's visual. Men are incredibly visual creatures, and in this position, you're right there, fully in his sightline. He can take in your expressions, your body, your energy. Second, it's intimate. You're face to face, which means your lips, your breath, your voice, they're all in play. And third, it flips the power dynamic in a way that's electrifying for him. He's used to leading, but here you are taking over, and that contrast makes his pulse race. But here's the secret sauce. It's not just about the position, it's about the energy you bring into it. When you straddle him, don't just sit there, own it. Place your hands on his jaw, look into his eyes like you could drink him in. Play with his hair, lean in and whisper something that makes his mind go blank. Tell him exactly how good he feels. Bite his lip gently. Keep your hips moving slow or fast, teasing or insistent. It's your rhythm, your rules. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but Matthew, I don't have the body I did at 25. And here's my answer: it doesn't matter. This isn't about being a gymnast or having a magazine perfect body. Confidence is the sexiest thing in the room. A man will remember the look in your eyes, the way you move, the way you made him feel, far more than he will remember the exact curve of your waist. If you own the moment, he will be obsessed. And here's the other beautiful thing about this position. It works anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the bedroom. Picture this: he's sitting at the dining table after dinner. You casually walk over, pull his chair back slightly, climb into his lap, and kiss him like you can't wait another second. Do you think he's going to forget that anytime soon? Not a chance. The Queen's Throne is a statement. It says, I desire you. I'm confident. I'm not afraid to take what I want. And for a man, that is irresistible. In a moment, we're going to talk about position Fight 2, a move that taps into one of the most primal masculine instincts men have, and why most women have no idea how powerful it is until they try it. This one's going to take you out of your comfort zone in the best way possible. So you've just given him the Queen's Throne, you've taken control, you've made him see you in a whole new light, and you've reminded him that you can switch the rules of the game anytime you want. That confidence, that dominance, it's still burning in his mind. But now we're going to take things somewhere different, somewhere that pulls at his primal, instinctive side. The part of him that wants to claim you, to hold you like he's afraid to lose you. Position 8-2 is what I call the wall claim. This isn't a position that happens quietly or politely. This is a position that bursts out of raw attraction and tension that's been building, maybe over the course of a day, maybe over the course of a week. This is the one where you're standing, you're back against a wall, and he's right there in front of you, holding you up, kissing you like he's starved for you, his hands in your hair, on your hips, on your back. Why does this position hit men on such a deep level? It's because it taps into the hunter inside him. It takes him out of the calm, controlled role and throws him into a moment where he's acting out of pure, unfiltered desire. It's physical, it's urgent, it's a little messy. And that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Now, here's the twist: while this position feels like it's about him taking control, you're actually the one orchestrating it. The magic is in how you set it up. Maybe you're in the kitchen, you're laughing together, and you suddenly walk toward him, grab the front of his shirt, and pull him in for a kiss. Then, without breaking eye contact, you take a couple of slow steps back until you feel the wall behind you. Boom, you've just created the perfect stage for the wall claim. From there, let him press you into it. Wrap your legs around his waist if the height works. Hold his face in your hands. Let your lips wander to his jaw, to his neck. Just enough to make him groan. And here's the key: let there be pauses. Pull back for a second, look into his eyes, smile like you know exactly what you're doing to him, and then go right back in. That tease is everything. Men love this because it combines vulnerability and dominance in one explosive mix. You're letting him feel like he's taking you, but you've initiated the whole thing. That subtle shift, you leading him into the role without him realizing it, makes you unforgettable. He'll walk away from that moment thinking, I can't get enough of her. And don't limit this to the bedroom. The wall claim can happen almost anywhere. Maybe it's in the hallway on your way to the bedroom. Maybe it's in the garage before you even get out of the car. Maybe it's in the bathroom while the shower's heating up. The location changes everything. And every time you change the setting, you're adding another memory to his obsessed with you file. Now, let me give you a secret trick that takes this position from hot to mind-blowing. Use your voice. In those moments when you're catching your breath, whisper something in his ear. It could be sweet, I've been thinking about you all day. It could be daring, I want you right here. Or it could be playful, think you can handle me. The point is to give his mind something to hold on to long after the moment ends. Because here's the truth: men don't just remember the physical, they remember the emotional charge attached to it. When you combine the physical intensity of the wall claim with words that make his brain light up, you're not just giving him a physical experience, you're imprinting yourself on him. And let's talk confidence for a moment, because I know some women hesitate with this. They think, I don't want to look awkward trying to pull him toward the wall. But listen, he's not judging your technique. He's not analyzing your choreography. All he's feeling in that moment is, she wants me so badly, she couldn't wait. That's powerful. That's addictive. Now, if you've given him the Queen's Throne and then maybe a day later surprised him with the wall claim, you've already broken two major rules of predictability in your relationship. You've shifted the dynamic twice, once by taking the lead in a dominant way, and once by letting him step into his most primal masculine energy. And the best part, he has no idea what's coming next, which brings me to position Phase 3. This one's different. It's slower, more intimate, more emotionally charged. It's the position that makes him feel like the most desired man on earth, while also making him melt for you in a way he didn't know he could. After the wall claim, his mind is already spinning. You've given him urgency, hunger, that sense of, why have to have her right now? But here's where we take all that high-octane passion and slow it down in the most dangerous way possible. This next one isn't about speed. It isn't about pressing up against a wall or riding the wave of adrenaline. This is about intimacy so thick it feels like the rest of the world disappears. Position A3. I call it the velvet trap. Imagine this: the lights are low, maybe there's a candle flickering somewhere in the background, and you're both already drawn in toward each other. But instead of rushing, you lead him to sit back. You climb onto him, slowly straddling his lap, knees pressed into either side of his hips. Your faces are close enough that you can feel each other's breath, but you don't kiss him immediately. The reason I call it the velvet trap is because from the moment you're on him, he's not going anywhere. Not physically, not mentally. You've got him caged in the softest, most seductive prison imaginable. You take your time here. Realize that this isn't a power move like the Queen's. There isn't the wild urgency of the war claim. This is about making him feel every single second, every single brush of skin, every single glance you give him. Men crave this more than they'll admit. Sure, they fantasize about raw, physical encounters. But this is the moment that melts their armor there. Because when you're sitting on like this, looking into his eyes, moving slow, you're telling him without words, you're the only man in my world right now. Realize that in that kind of focus, that undivided attention, it's intoxicating. Here's where you turn this position from guru, unforgettable eye contact. Don't just glance at him, look at him. Really let your gaze rest on his. Let there be moments where you just exist together. You might to his chest, run your fingers through his hair, trace the line of his jaw with your thumb there, and in between those touches, keep that eye connection strong. It creates an emotional intensity that even the most physical position can't compete with. And then, and this is important, change your pace unpredictably. Start slow, almost teasing, then speed up for a few seconds, then slow way down again. That rhythm keeps him locked in because he can't anticipate your next move. Remember, predictability kills attraction, variety feeds it. Now let's talk about your hands. There. While you're in the velvet trap, your hands are free to do so much damage, the good kind of damage. Play with the hair at the nape of his neck. Draw your nails lightly down his back. They grip his shoulders firmly for a moment to ground him in the feeling of your body against his, or lean in, kiss him softly, realize that they're there, then pull back just enough to let him feel the loss before you give it back again. Here's the thing most women don't realizing, men aren't just turned on by what you do, they're turned on by how much you enjoy yourself while doing it. When you're in the velvet trap, let yourself feel it. Let the little gasps escape. Realize that let your body move in a way that feels natural and unhurried. The more you're in the moment, the more he's going to be obsessed with staying there with you. And I'll give you a little psychological secret here. When you give him a position that's this emotionally charged, you're creating a memory that lingers far longer than the act itself. Days later, when he's sitting at his desk, he'll think of the way you looked at him in the velvet trap, the way you touched him, the way you seemed completely lost in him. And that thought alone will bring all those feelings rushing back. Realize that that's how you make him crave you even when you're not around. One more thing, and this is key for making this position hit your man's heart as much as his body. Whisper something personal. Realize that not just dirty talk, though you can absolutely do that if you want, but something that makes him feel chosen. Something like, no one else gets this side of me but you. Those words sink deep because they're not just sexual, they're emotional. They tell him he's in a category all his own. Realize that now, by the time you've gone from the Queen's throne to the war claim to the velvet trap, you've shown him three sides of you: the playful leader, the passionate partner. Realize that they're in the deeply intimate lover. You've covered dominance, urgency, and emotional depth, which means for position 8-4, that we're about to push things back into a space that's a little more adventurous, the kind of thing most men fantasize about but rarely get to experience. And trust me, position A4, that's where the fun really begins. We've gone from playful dominance in the Queen's throw B to urgent passion in the wall claim B to deep emotional connection in the velvet trap. Now we shift gears into something that blends vulnerability with raw erotic charge, something that lets him see you in a way that's almost too intimate to look at, but he can't look away. Position A4, the mirror surrender. Why the mirror? Because this is one of the only positions where he gets the visual, you get the power of his gaze, and you both get the thrill of seeing exactly what's happening in real time. This works whether you've got a full-length mirror in your bedroom or even just a strategically placed dresser mirror. Here's the setup, and you're in front of him facing the mirror. He's behind you, his hands at your waist or running up your sides. The beauty of the mirror surrender is that you're both watching and feeling at the same time. You can lock eyes with him through the reflection, which creates this strange, realize that they're almost cinematic energy. You're in it together, but you're also spectators to your own connection. Now, here's the trick to making this absolutely electric. They alternate between holding his gaze in the mirror and breaking it. Sometimes meet his eyes for a few seconds, then look down at yourself with a little smirk, like you're aware of how good you look and how much he's enjoying it. That combination, confidence plus shyness, is irresistible. Another element, use your hands. In the mirror, he's watching you touch yourself, adjust your hair, trace your fingers, down your own body. And every little move you make is amplified by the fact that he's watching it all happen from two angles at once. Psychologically, this position taps into something men then don't get very often: the ability to see the woman they're with, every reaction, every change in expression, every breath. It turns him into a mix of lover and audience. And when a man feels like he's been given an all-access pass to you like this, it burns into his memory. One more tip for the mirror surrender: there'd be moments where you seem to forget he's even there. Not literally, of course, but moment you focus entirely on the mirror and on yourself. That sends a subtle but powerful message: I'm enjoying myself as much as you are. That's the part that turns this from a sexy position into an obsession trigger. There, and now we come to the grand finale. Position at 5, the slow burn finale. If you take away nothing else from this speech, take this. Most women underestimate the power of slowing things down right when he's at his peak of excitement. Men are wired for escalation, but when you interrupt that with a slow, almost torturous pace, it flips something in his brain. Suddenly, he's not just turned on, he's desperate. Here's what the slow burn finale looks like. You're in whatever position you both love most, but instead of racing toward the end, you deliberately slow everything down. If you're on top, you take control of the rhythm. Smooth, unhurried, deliberate. If he's on top, you gently hold his hips or chest and set the pace yourself. The magic here is in the pauses. Stop entirely for a second, just long enough for him to realize how much he wants more. Look into his eyes. Smile like you know exactly what you're doing, because you do. Then start again, maybe even slower than before. This is where you blend every skill from the earlier positions: the leadership of the Queen's throne, the urgency of the wall claim, the intimacy of the velvet trap, the visual fire of the mirror surrender, and you pour it all into this final stretch. While you're in the slow burn finale, talk to him, not full sentences, just little charged phrases. There, I'm not done with you yet. You feel too good. Or even just his name, whispered like it's the only word you can remember. Words in this moment carry twice the power they normally would, because his senses are already heightened. And here's the deeper truth about this position: slowing down forces him to feel more. Every touch, every kiss, every move is magnified. And when a man feels that level of sensation with you, it imprints on his memory in a way he can't shake. That's what keeps him coming back. Not just the thrill of the physical, but the way you made him feel completely consumed by you. Now, let's wrap this whole journey into one lasting piece of advice. These 5 positions aren't just about physical technique. They're about what they say to him. Each one sends a different message. The Queen's throne says, I can lead. The wall claim says, I want you now. The velvet trap says, I see you. I choose you. The mirror surrender says, you get to see all of me. The slow burn finale says, I control the moment and I'll give it to you when I'm ready. When you combine all those messages, you're telling him something even bigger. Realize that I'm the kind of woman who give you experiences you've never had before, and you'll never stop thinking about me. And that, far more than any single move or position, is what makes a man obsessed. So try one tonight, see how he reacts, then try another tomorrow. Within a week, you won't just be the woman he wants in the moment, you'll be the woman he dreams about long after the lights go out. And hey, before you go trying these tonight, if this video made you smile, gave you an idea, or made you think, oh, I'm definitely doing that, then I want you to do 2 things. First, hit that like button so I know this kind of content turns you on just as much as it turns him on. And second, click subscribe, because the next video I have coming is going to make your man lose his mind for you in ways you've never seen before. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.